Hey everybody, good morning. It's Jillian. So, yeah, I could see now why people want to decalcify their pineal gland and why they want to blame like one mineral to to say it's the fault of this one mineral that calcifies. And yeah, that could be true that when you have an imbalance of minerals in your body and you haven't learned how to release the excess minerals and antibodies, that yes, you're going to have antibodies and minerals coagulate and accumulate in different parts of your systems. And sometimes, yes, the pineal gland does get calcified over time, which is your antenna to the universe, antenna to the gods, whoever your maker, to where then, yeah, you're more of a triggered human that is able to be programmed by the system, by your parents, by your teachers, by your doctors, and by your employers to then exploit your potential. And then when you're used up and you start glitching, then yeah, again, you're gently recycled back into the world, into the system, into the universe. And they try to give you some kind of benefits along the way so the system doesn't feel too bad by exploiting you. And so, biochemistry, like all the different feelings you have, whether it's adrenaline, whether it's love, whether it's hate, whether it's just all the different extreme feelings, that is what the gods gave us a long time ago. And then what happened is the Greeks figured out that you can manipulate those specific chemical processes, which is the biochemistry, and create strengths from them to which then manifest into productivity and, yeah, logic, reasoning, architecture, um, harnessing the elements, technology. And so that's what makes up a human. Like, humans were cavemen back then. And did cavemen have extreme emotions? I'm sure they felt sad when somebody died or attacked by a woolly mammoth or something, or stepped on by a woolly mammoth. But you look at, I don't know, you look at your dog. Like my dog has divine potential. Excuse me. She does feel stuff. I could see her like after she's been on the J juice for the last like 2 years. She's definitely turned into a very calm animal that is able to communicate just by staring at me and by barking like in the middle of the night when she wants to go out. And she gets me up. And she has no, she cannot go and run a vacuum. No, she cannot read a book. No, she doesn't speak English, but she has a way to telepathically, just by looking at me and then by all the routines that we go through, letting me know what exactly she wants. And so when an animal and you are at one and you are sharing the same spirit, so to speak, because yeah, you're exchanging antibodies back and forth. It's not like you're going to be immune from your animal's exposure to upgrades to the system because they are also made up of the microbiome. And so you share a spirit with your animal. And that's why people do take on characteristics and their personalities are like their animals because they are eventually molding into one. Not like literally, but yes, an animal has an attachment to what they biochemically are aligned with. And sometimes they are more attached to one of the owners than both. Sometimes they have different relationships within a household, but there is a specific, each relationship is very different and it's specific because they know what they can get from each of the owners. So that's why one is more predominant than the other. So anyways, and so yeah, so when humans were upgraded and were given the ability because of the seeds from the divine, the seeds from Zeus, the seeds from Poseidon, the seeds from Artemis, the seeds from Hera, or the eggs from Hera, all the different gods and demigods are what gave us the diversity of biochemistry, of feelings. And the immortality is the fact that you're able to Well, why the gods were immortal? Because they had one specific biochemistry that gave them the life. They didn't need to have a balance of a bunch. Like humans have, we have so many hormones that make up who we are that if we try to be like a god by having only one hormone come to service, like a love, 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 or a hate, 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 or a war, 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 we're not gods until we can balance all of that out. The only way you can really become, when you think about it, immortal or indefinite life is when you take all of the biochemistry from all the gods that were intermixed with humanity and be able to balance it out perfectly where you're able to utilize each of those gifts when it's appropriate. Not purposely bring them up because you want to feel a superhuman power. That's why the Olympians, and that's why everybody out there is dying at a specific time, because they're exploiting the gifts that the gods gave them without learning how to balance all of those gifts out. Okay, you weren't born a god. You were born with divine potential that has to be realized. And then mankind, and yes, the Greeks and the doctors, the Hippocrates and all the doctors and the healers figured out how to suppress and how to squelch and atrophy parts of your body to get the most innovation out of you. Because yes, when you spread out the innovation throughout the brain, you're not going to get a specialty in one. You're going to get an overall jack of all trades, master of none. Though, yes, if you want to be master of all of them, you got to be around long enough to be a master of all the trades out there, if that's even your intention. So what did mankind do when they were fruitful and multiplied? They figured out how to manipulate they bioengineered bodies and then dubbed genetic lines to be good at this, 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 and this. And that's what makes up our society. Do you see intellectuals going and doing plumbing? Sometimes you might see an intellectual can go fix a car. I've seen it where, a girl I know, she's a bit younger than me. She's able to fix a car much better than her husband. And she is, she also does photography. Very talented. But then also she's going to, she also is in the system. She's going to eventually pass away someday. But that's like, but really for the most part, we are bred to do a specific job. We are bred to believe in a specific way. We're bred to uphold certain characteristics of a community and then when you pass away, you have to have some offspring to replace you. So that way we don't have people dying without an actual replacement. So that's why the schooling system exists. And then that's why you have the vaccines and the therapeutics to then elicit and bring up more of that innovation with people who can take to the innovation. The ones that can't, obviously you see what happens when somebody is exposed to a virus or a vaccine. They don't have what it takes to handle the innovation, and you know it because they're confused, they're scared, and they maybe expire very quickly. And so what you're seeing right now is a total change in our world. Okay? What used to be back in the 1960s, the whole communist thought process was being squelched because they wanted innovation. They wanted to bring up the most talented people by yes, MK Ultra type trauma pain based programming, which then brings up very, very specific characteristics to then pull out innovation and then obviously use that for the common good. And so they couldn't afford communism back in the 1960s. Okay, so the only way you can pull out innovation from a people is if you invest in capitalism, where you use the carrot stick methodology. And then you have so many people procreate and are competitive with each other and at each other's throats. The one that's the strongest is going to rise to the top with the most innovation, and then that's who they then take out of the bunch, whether it's in college, within high school, within grade school. And then they're being put into positions like NASA or other, industries that are going to advance technology and the human existence. And so that's why Bill Gates does what he does. Okay? We have a lot of closet racists out there that cannot handle new information, that cannot handle anything that's new. Like, I'm watching Star Trek, and I understand now why Star Trek was brought to us. I understand why the science fiction was brought to our myths, because there are different planetary beings that look different. If you can't handle the people that are diverse with either ideas or their looks, okay, if you can't, and if you're a racist in that way, intolerant, when you're trying to cancel out Bill Gates, trying to cancel out those that are trying to advance society, what makes you think that you can earn to see what else is out there? If you have zero tolerance to understand both sides of an issue, that we do have many people who are so intolerant, that are so dogmatic, that are so destructive, that do you really think that we need to have that in our world? That maybe we need to evolve to a higher level of existence and a higher frequency? And if you have what it takes to survive everything that's going on, then it doesn't matter what they do or who takes to what or doesn't take to what, because you're taking care of you. Okay? And so, I can understand why polytheism, why there is that belief system, and then monotheism is based upon just how you want to compile all the polytheistical, the different gods and whatever they've done, and have it housed under one person. But there is no one person or group of people that exemplify balance. Each person is going to have to represent balance on their own. That's why religion and spirituality is not something that you can mass produce, because you're trying to apply, a universal way on individuals who are at different levels of evolution and different levels of tolerance. How can you say you're a Christian, Catholic, atheist, or whatever, which has specific tenets and specific, the specific descriptions of what a good Christian or a good Catholic or a good atheist does, and people are closet racists? They're trying to go after Mark Zuckerberg. They're trying to they're trying to mischaracterize what Bill Gates is doing. Maybe there's a bigger picture that you're not even aware of, but since people have so many imbalances in their biochemistry and their spiritual concoction of their chemical processes, that they automatically are looking for an enemy. They're looking for someone to cancel out because they can't figure out who they are. So it's easier to find an enemy, someone they can blame, and not understand both sides of a picture, what's going on, than it is to really face their own humanity and face that maybe they've been wrong their whole life. And the reason why probably we weren't let on with all of this information is because we couldn't handle it. Humans have, I know humans that if they see something they don't like, whether it's an animal, they'll go and destroy it. How many hunters out there that just like to kill for the freaking game of it? Okay? So imagine an actual alien coming out of the sky and saying, "Hey, yeah, I'm one of the gods from back in antiquity." How many of you would destroy that alien as soon as it came into your midst? Or Bigfoot. That's why Bigfoot hasn't shown his face really enough to be destroyed by a human. Because so many humans are not only going to try to destroy a thing that's really weird physically, but they'll also try to destroy ideas mentally. Or they'll purposely misunderstand somebody or something and think they're evil. And then they'll allow the fairy tales out there. Say, okay, yeah, there's probably very imbalanced entities out there. And then that's why there is the balance of the yin and the yang. I don't even want to call it good and evil. You can call it good and evil because that's based upon your perspective of what is good and what is evil. And it's not going to be universally shared by everybody. Because what's evil to you could be good to somebody else. And what's good to somebody else could be evil to you. So there's no way to say, okay, everything is universally good or evil. Like I've said, okay, evil reptilians. But no, we need a balance. Because let me tell you, I don't want to be all love, love, love and have someone try to overtake me and try to cross boundaries. Because I'm all about love, love, love. I know many people are all about love, 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 and they allow everyone to basically walk all over them because they're all about love, love, love. And so you have to have a balance of all the different biochemistries that are out there. Don't try to just pluck your love, love, love. Don't always try to pluck your hate, hate, hate. Don't always try to pluck your aggressive war, war, war. Things when they're appropriate, bring them out, and then when they're not appropriate, let them be dormant. But no, humans have a way of trying to manipulate their biochemistry and manipulate their emotions so they can then try to be king of the hill, king of the forest, king of whatever. You want to be a Hercules in whatever manner. No, I think it's time that humans actually understand their divine potential and stop trying to be king of whatever and just be, a peaceful, I don't even say loving, just be a peaceful, productive, balanced member of society that recognizes they have a lot of divine potential. But do you need to advertise it? Do you have to let everybody know that you're strong, that you're smart? No, I mean, I want people to live. I want people to enjoy their surroundings. I want people to love Earth and enjoy the world that they live in, and to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. If somebody is breaking the law, then yeah, they go to jail. If they're not breaking the law, then what the fuck are you doing trying to cancel them out? Why are you assuming that just because somebody said that Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates was on the Epstein logs, that actually is true? And even if it is, who gives a shit? Is it any of your business? There's a lot of people that have done a lot of bad stuff out there, and let them figure it out with their maker. Let them reap their own punishment. But when you start attacking somebody else because of rumors and innuendos and trying to cancel somebody out, that is a human foible that does not deserve divine intervention, much less immortality. That shows how human you really are. So maybe it's time that we stop canceling people out based upon rumors and based upon our own imbalances, and we start looking within. But again, we have a lot of humans on this earth that were bred to have their innovation extracted from them at some point in time. And so, yes, we can't help innovate everybody because it takes a human to understand their own potential. And if they don't understand their own potential, then somebody else is going to then evolve them out of existence. And so I just say to you, if you're on the Jilly Juice, it's time to stop with the cancel culture. Stop attacking Zuckerberg. Stop attacking Bill Gates. I understand the anger towards the doctors that are injecting your friends and family that can't handle it. But you know what? That's your friends and family's choice. The doctors are making a shit ton of money. They have to feed their family. They have no incentive to change their purview. I understand why the medical websites cater to a 7th and 8th grade level, because humanity is basically adolescent. That should tell you a lot of stuff, that humanity hasn't grown up. It's time for you guys to be example and grow up beyond your adolescent years. And me too, believe me, I've been growing up and evolving for the last 4 years. And so last night I did a whole rant about LGBTQ and straight and black and Asian, all that. All of them they're all equal. Everybody's equal. Let them figure out if they deem themselves enough of a person to stay alive indefinitely in whatever form that they're in. If they choose to pass away at 100 years or less, that's their choice in whatever that they choose to identify as. I understand now why we're releasing the categories. Because yes, every human is bioengineered. What makes you think that your meat suit and what you have wasn't bioengineered? So when you do the J juice, you're going to find out over time that everything, yes, is bioengineered. And you're going to take to it, you're going to adapt to it. And we'll see if what we are is exactly what God intended. And guess what? I've been exposed to the viruses, the vaccines, all the different therapeutics, and I feel like a balanced person. I've taken to the programming. Did I turn back to a caveman? No, I just adapted to my new environment. And you will continue to adapt to your new environment. You will continue to evolve. But it first comes with you facing your own demons and facing why you want to cancel other people out and facing why you have to be an activist. If someone is trying to actually kill you and come after you, then yes, you get the law involved. But if no one's coming into your house and trying to harm you, then what are you scared of? And why is it so necessary to go and try to cancel? Unless you have major imbalances that are coming to surface that you have no control over. And that means that maybe you need to up your level of J juice so you can get control of your divine emotions that are totally imbalanced, making you mortal. Because you know what's available with Jilly Juice. You know what it is. All of the science is aligned. The ambrosia of the gods and then their light energy is what made them immortal. So maybe it's time that with your ambrosia that you have here on earth, and then you have the salt and the light and the action potential, maybe you can balance out the divine potential that you got from the gods and still have your meat suit here on earth, and you stop destroying mankind as well as yourself. Because that's why people don't understand other people, because they don't understand themselves, and they actively destroy themselves as well as they destroy other people and ideas and different things and animals. So I'm going to do my thing, but that's just something that please be aware of as far as biochemistry. That is the gift from the gods that people are trying to exploit from you. So you better learn how to keep your own biochemistry and balance it out. Don't give it away for free.